Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the InfoWars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Clips. Alrighty, boob tubes. In the evening, one and all, microphone on, microphone's on, and the microphone's on. I've decided I'm going to quadruple check every time. Sick of telling everybody the meaning of life and everybody missing it. In the evening, one and all, welcome to the Truther Industrial Complex podcast. I think it's number 5. Johnny 5 is alive. Alan should be joining me later. It's a hard man to pin down for 10 minutes, man. In fact, I'll give him a wee poke with a stick. Now, the Truther Industrial Complex podcast is pretty self-explanatory. It's a podcast. Do you know how it's a podcast? Because it fucking says so. But everybody else is doing it. So it's a podcast, right? And it's a podcast about the Truther Industrial Complex. Whether you believe in the conspiracies or you don't, it's a safe space for people to discuss the possibilities of these conspiracies existing without falling into a cult. Hopefully, falling into a cult-like mentality and want to tear strips off each other because you don't believe in each other's boogeymen, which is it's allowed apparently. It's meant to be allowed. In the evening, one and all. So remember, if you do appreciate the Truther Industrial Complex podcast, thumbs it up, share it with your friends, share it with your foes, share it with your family, help the channel and the show grow. And remember what I do here, it's digital busking. It is all available and accessible free of charge. I'm going to do such a good job, you'll find value in what I do and use your spare change, not your life savings, in the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. Mega thanks to those who do. Hopefully Alan will be joining me sooner rather than later, and we'll get a wee chit chat with him about, is man-made global warming a communist conspiracy? Now, another thing here, man, there is no experts, there is no people in white coats sitting here. Although I can get a white coat on if it needs be. Well, it doesn't make me an expert. Maybe I should just wear a white coat one night and then people might start taking me serious. I might try that. I'm going to wear a white coat once. Anyway, there's no men in white coats here. It's just people talking shite about conspiracies. It's nothing too serious. Anybody too religious about this shit wants to fight the New World Order. Rah! Woo! Take a step back, man. Let's just talk about crazy conspiracies. So, Donald Trump conspiracy around global warming. Now, this is a one that will trigger everybody left, right, and centre, you know? Whew. On all sides. Whew. Like, hold on a sec, man. Can I put up a third or fourth option here? But I just want to discuss some of the crazy things that go through my head with regards to this conspiracy, or the conspiracies in and around global warming. And again, TV broke. Hope it's not broke for good. Anyway, you're free to believe in man-made global warming. You're free to believe it's a hoax, and everything in between. It's allowed.
Thanks very much for being with us, Marshall. Let me ask you first of all,
Illuminati.
maybe not surprised.
Illuminati. Hacking my TV. And this is a safe space to discuss the pros and cons. And for me to get off my chest, I've got no conclusions here. I have... I mean, the first conclusions I would love to throw out there, right, is... Well, let's look at Donald Trump's claim that global warming is a communist conspiracy. Now, I'm going to get this all gobbledygook and upside down, right? But not Howard Marx. Right, the Marxist manifesto, hate to sound like the UK column and stuff. Right, but one of the principles, which a lot of people can agree with, by the way, about in and around Marxism, stroke communism, or in and around those ideologies, is the people controlling, owning, and controlling the means of production. So the people, the state, the communists would own the factories, so on and so forth. Through the Communist Party owning it. That's more communism than Marxism. But anyway, I'm splitting hairs there. But, long story short, just that simple principle, right, about being able to control, dominate, say yay or nay to the means of production in all its forms. And that's going in an old-fashioned economy, you know, when it had been pretty much every country had their own manufacturing. It's different nowadays, but the same principles apply, but it's outside services. So, the communist part of the Communist Manifesto, the Marxist Manifesto, is they're talking about controlling the means of production, right? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's there in black and white. I'm sure if you read the manifesto somewhere, somebody's put it down. And one of the things that stands out to me about the whole global warming thing, and I couldn't tell you if it's real or not. Whether it is real or not, I just know there would be, like, I would assume there would be people, scumbags with lots of money, want to use it to further their interests. It just makes, to me, my uber skeptical mind, my conspiracy within a conspiracy 4G, no, it's 6D Twister, baby, that's what I'm playing. I'm playing 6D Twister when it comes to my conspiracies. So, my 6D Twister on the global warming conspiracy, it's just an angle, it's just a 6D angle, 6-dimensional look at this. Is no matter if it's a red car that's fighting for this, or the blue car, or there's 3 cars or 4 cars all fighting to push through regulation to basically control and regulate production in all its forms. It stinks of something that's, to me, there's a very strong parallel to what's in the Communist Manifesto, you know, like, but rather than the Communist Party controlling the people via the Communist Party, controlling and owning the means of production, well, you've got a de facto government kind of dictating and regulating global manufacturing, pretty much everything. The global warming thing and to control emissions is, I think I'm right in saying it's almost in every industry. I can't imagine an industry that there isn't some sort of a fucking paper saving exercise fucking to save the trees and hug the planet, you know? So that's my 6D Twister extra dimensional look on the global warming conspiracy. I mean, I just see I could, like, if I was like fucking the evil doctor for a Bond movie or something, and I had like an artichoke and I was just stroking my artichoke, Because if I was an evil Bond villain, that's what I would have as my pet. Armour, baby. Fucking armour. And my armadillo. Animals and vegetables, easy things to get mixed up. But as I'm sitting there stroking my armoured animal in my Skull Mountain, I'm like, I'll pretend I'm saving the world, the fools. But I'll be really trying to control all production through my de facto Captain Planet Brigade. I can kind of imagine that scenario. But maybe I've watched too many Bond movies. But we all know, and I'm a truther, I don't watch TV, although I do watch TV. It's funny to see all the truthers out there that don't have a TV and don't watch TV. What do they watch all their TV programmes on? I don't get it. I don't, do they think watching a TV programme on catch up on your phone or on a computer monitor is different from actually just watching it on a TV? I don't know. Or like watching films and stuff is different from watching TV, you know, it's like hypocritical. Guy watches TV. Anyway, I digress. So, back to the 6-dimensional look at the conspiracy. So for me, I could imagine some Doctor Doom somewhere concocting a plan. Now, also as well, now this is me going into the 7th dimension of Twister. I could also imagine there being like a Doctor Doom 2. You know, Doctor Doom's arch nemesis. He might not be a superhero, he might just be another bad bastard, but that nemesis is all like, so called Doctor Doom 1. The UK and America and the city of London cabal, they call Doctor Doom 1 them, and they're sitting there like that trying to control the world through fucking global warming stuff to regulate every industry on every level at every point. It'd be a Doctor Doom, call it Doctor Who. I know it's not Doctor Doom, it's called Doctor Who. Doctor I don't know, it's a famous Chinese doctor. Dr. Ming! Call him Ming the fucking Merciless, like. You get Doctor Doom, and you've got Ming the Merciless, right? Make up your own conclusions who Ming the Merciless might represent. And Ming the Merciless over there might be sitting stroking your Siamese cat for some reason. I don't know why Dr. Ming the Merciless has a Siamese cat. But he has a Siamese cat, and he's sitting there with a Siamese cat, and he's like, we can do the same shit too! We can control the world, right? Okay, and then there's like fucking then there's competing uber Bond villains competing for control of the global planet, because the planet is global, you know. Complete global dominance through Captain Planet, right? And I don't know if Captain Planet's really got our best interests at heart. I don't know. I just understand. I don't know. Anyway, this is just things that go through my head when it comes. I don't care about all this science shit and all that. I'm interested in Captain Planet, Doctor Doom, and Ming the Merciless and their evil plans. And what would happen if they existed? Because we've heard the multi-universe theory, which means everywhere a version of everything exists. So the fact that I just said that there means that it exists somewhere. Have you thought about that? Hey, David Icke, stick your vibrations up your pipe with that one. Anyway, hopefully he's actually get the fucking... there is actually sense in that. No, there isn't any sense though, I'm talking pish. But hopefully you kind of get the point I'm making. So that's one thing that sticks out for the global warming thing, right? It doesn't matter if they're communist, capitalist. It's just a name, isn't it? It's a pile of shite. It's just ultimately just like a system. It's an administrative system of control over a mass populace, and each system has to project themselves as the best, otherwise they go down. And not go down like in a good way. You know, when somebody goes down on you in a good way, they go downtown. They just go down. The system does bad. There, layman's terms. So, Donald Trump is global man-made global warming a communist conspiracy? I would say 6D twister to that. No, it's a conspiracy between Ming the Merciless and Doctor Doom, and they're both bullshitting us to try and control the world through Captain Planet and his Planeteers. Because whoever wins is going to control every aspect of your fucking life. You're not even going to be able to get a pair of spectacles unless fucking the plastic or whatever it's made out has been pre-approved to make sure it doesn't hurt a penguin somewhere. And I love penguins! The biscuits and the animals. I like to pick them all up. Anyway, so that's my 6D twister version of the conspiracy behind global warming. Right? And again, I've got no white jacket on. I'm backing this up with no scientific. It's just pondering over the possibilities. It's allowed. But I could see Ming the Merciless and that happening. I could see that being a thing. I really could. Anyway, right, let's see if Alan's anywhere near 20 minutes. Right, what else sticks out about the global warming conspiracy? Well, the thing that sticks in macro that I've pointed out before, that see the argument from, like, let's use David Attenborough, not David Attenborough, sorry, but we'll throw him into the mix as well. Let's use no, what's his name? David Bellamy. I knew it was there in there somewhere. David Bellamy is an example. And how, because he held a belief which may or may not be true, I do not know. But I'm interested in listening to both sides of the argument. This guy sat up there, and I'm a professor, and I'm a scientist, and I'm not. And he had a version of events that isn't the version of events that seems to be getting monopolised. And, like, monopolies are wrong in all their incantations from, well, especially monopoly of information or an argument where, like, one side of an argument just isn't allowed to exist. And again, I smell Ming the Merciless and Doctor Doom when I see the sides of the argument getting shut down, because I'm like, right, if the science is going to prove the other side wrong, why are you scared of people who are scientists coming out and refuting what you're saying? Right, because in science, there can be arguments over theory. And this is the problem, you see. There can be arguments over theory. Scientists can debate theory, but they can't disagree over science and the purest form of what science is. And for me, a non-scientist idiot, what science is in its most purest form is a reproducible experiment that any Tom, Dick and Harry with a certain skill set can reproduce with the same outcome, proving a theory. Layman's terms, alright, but that's kind of where I'm coming from. So that's another way to look at the whole global warming thing. And I mean, I'm sitting here for a perspective of where I'm sceptical about the whole general narrative, but I also don't want to see the earth destroyed anytime quick. I certainly don't like the way big corporations get away with polluting so easy, so on and so forth, and raping all the resources. I would just like a fair argument, and I don't feel that's getting... I don't know, when the more stories that come out about a certain side be getting shut down, makes you sceptical about the whole argument. But that's just my train of thought. So I'll say hi to those in the chat. Thanks for joining. I'm going to give Alan a shout. I was hoping we could wrap this up in about an hour or something tonight, but obviously not. Don't know how much I can rattle on about my fucking 3D fucking twister of global warming. But I'll give it a damn good go. Who cares in the evening? There's Charlotte. Cha, how you doing? Old Pet River. I feel your penguin pain. Vladimir, how you doing, my man? Stewie in the evening, buddy. There's Richie in the room as well. There's Dud. 2K, how you doing, Dud? Jodie Reed in the evening. Jodie, hope you're keeping well. The Magic Magnets is in the room. The artist formerly known as Tony, how you doing, my man? Stewie, Richie, Tony, Miss Spice, how you doing, Miss Spice? Nice to see you in. Caroline, and then Punk is on the whiskey in the evening. Punk, hope the guitar playing is going well, and Stewie as well. Who cares? And Stone Man, how you doing, Stone Man? Hope you're keeping well, buddy. So in the evening, one and all. Right, there's details below if anybody did want to contact and tell me about their crazy 60 twister conspiracies on the whole global warming thing. There's something going on. But it certainly seems to be. Getting used as part of a. I would say again, it probably boils down to economics. You know, it's Ming the Merciless fighting Doctor Doom for their ideologies to dominate the planet as the super high tech control grid goes in. I mean, think when they roll out 10G, baby, what will we be doing then? We'll be dancing like Peter Crouch. Oh. Probably nobody got that joke. Anyway. Devon in the evening. How you doing, my man? Right, I'm going to give Alan a quick poke with a stick. Oh, he's running his ass off to get ready, man, but I should have actually started at 9 o'clock, you know that? Stupid me. But hey ho. Right. The Club of Rome. Explained it all nice and neat. Stewie refreshes on the Club of Rome meeting. I remember the general principle. Was that not where was it Agenda 21 before it was Agenda 30? Trying to remember my. There was Agenda 21, wasn't there? That was the original. And then they upgraded it to Agenda 30, which, call me Einstein if you want, is 9 bigger. And anything that's 9 bigger, it's just bigger. 9. Imagine it was 11 bigger. Oh, then we would have been fucking in trouble. But it was the Club of Rome, no, the United Nations, like some sort of a body within the United Nations or something. You know what? Let me read. You know how quickly it is to Google this shit? Right, let's even just use the wiki for a wee refresher course. And I used to know all this shit inside out, I really did. Founded 68 in Rome, Italy. Consists of the current and former heads of state, UN bureaucrats, high-level politicians and government officials, diplomats, scientists, economists and business leaders from around the globe. Stimulated considerable public attention in 1972 with the first report to the Club of Rome, The Limits to Growth. Since the 1st of July, the organisation has been based in Switzerland. Oh. We all know Switzerland. Oh, fuck's sake, man, it's funded by the Volkswagen. Right, hold on, let me have a wee look at this. Right, so the first report that they published was in 1972, right? The report was called Limits to Growth. Now, what's the Limits to Growth? LTG 1972 report on the computer simulation. So again, here's the absolute lack of science. This is where I mean, if this hadn't been pointed out to me, I wouldn't have questioned it. But once it gets pointed out to you, you're like, right, well, hold on, they are basing these on computer simulations. That's just not science. And anyway, of experimental economic and population growth, with a finite supply of resources funded by the Volkswagen Foundation. Fucking Nazis. Everywhere you go. Just turns out to be a bunch of Nazis. Well, let's see if it is. Aye, it's the largest German. Hold on. Volkswagen Foundation, right? Because Volkswagen, what's that? It's German for people wagon, isn't it? So I don't think it's anything to do with Volkswagen, the corporation. But anyway, it's the largest German private non-profit organisation for the promotion of research and education in the sciences, social science and humanities. It's not affiliated to the present company, the Volkswagen Group. It was established in 1961. Stiftung Volkswagenwerk. With a portion of the confiscated assets of the Volks 1961. Right. So, it's fucking Nazis, man. Trace it back, a bunch of Nazis. We beat them up in World War II, and then it just went. Even though all their shit still about. Even the way they ran things and all that kind of get propagated worldwide, but. Who am I? Their weapons. The only thing apparently that died with the Nazis was the word Nazi. But anyway, I digress. So the Club of Rome, Nazis. Let's go to the first report. Right, so Volkswagen, it was foundation and commissioned by the Club of Rome. The findings of the study were first presented at international gatherings in Moscow and Rio de Janeiro in the summer of 1971. The report's authors, blah 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 blah, 17 researchers. Since its publication, some 30 million copies of the book, 30 languages have been purchased. It continues to generate debate and has been the subject of several subsequent publications. The Limits to Growth, the 30-year update, was published in 2004 and 2012, and a 40-year forecast from Jorgen Randers, one of the book's original authors, was published as 2052. Right, a global forecast for the next 40 years. Right. The methodology. The study used the world. Oh shit! I'm reading that World 3 computer model. I was reading World War 3. But anyway, there's a small wee breakdown of what the Club of Rome. Right, and you know what I was saying there about Ming the Merciless and Doctor Doom creating this whole thing to control the whole world? Well, an interesting thing, the Club of Rome, who started the ball rolling and all this shit, let's say, or at least brought it to the world's attention. The Club of Rome was founded in April 1968 by Aurelio Persi or something, right? An Italian industrialist. And let's look at this as well, right? you get this capitalist and communist thing argued all the time, and I was led to believe we stay in a capitalist society, although all I see is communist and socialist things getting rolled out left, right and centre. Now I'll give you an example up here in Scotland with the minimum alcohol unit pricing. In fact, even the tobacco stuff, the tobacco and alcohol stuff mirrors each other, right? They've been the big corporations have been allowed to monopolise those markets here in the UK through the minimum pricing of alcohol and through the laws and regulations around the sale of tobacco. Now, I'm not a fan of fucking people drinking too much or even smoking at all. That's each to their own, to choose their own vices. And some would say there's a lot of evidence out there that the minimum pricing of alcohol's actually had a lot of beneficial effects, and I could see that being argued. I'm certainly not arguing against it. I don't have this purist. I'm not a purist in the sense like I'm a communist, I'm a capitalist, I'm a socialist, I'm on the right. I just try and approach things from a sensible, pragmatic point of view, which is lacking. It's just non-existent in politics. You have to choose a party. You have to choose a leader. But there's like sort of what I see with like alcohol and tobacco, with the laws that have been imposed on those products. I see the big large corporations being able to absolutely like completely monopolise and dominate those markets. I mean, what they've done to the tobacco industry, I mean, like, when they stopped allowing you to see what different brands are there, and like, is there price fluctuations? I don't even know, it's been that long since I bought tobacco, man. But anyway, what they've done to that industry now, everybody's had to stick with what the brand that they were on. You know, there's no advertising, there's no fucking, you can't see, there's no competition. And the people that like the people that would be most happiest with this were the largest tobacco producers at the time when this fucking legislation came in. Do you know who would be happiest with the minimum alcohol pricing? The large fucking alcohol producers, who now no longer little Frosty Jack in his basement can fucking pish into some turpentine, stick it in a blue bottle and sell it for fucking a couple of quid. Some would say that's a good thing, but it's certainly not a capitalist free market. You know what I mean? So like, there's these contradictions going on, like the socialised communistic medicine we've got here. Although you've got large, I would be happier with a communist fucking style medicine than the NHS, because then you would cut out all these fucking leeches of corporations that are just on the NHS, fucking bleeding billions of it. Man, God only knows how many billions of pounds per year go into fucking just cunts' pockets for sitting in their arse because of fucking contracts for the boys in the NHS. Anyway, that's enough of my communist policies. But there's the Chinese communist system getting rolled out over here in the UK. But China stinks. Anyway, right, that's 35 minutes. Hurry up, Alan, man. You said the back of 8. Torture. Right, okie dokie, pig in a pokey. What am I going to do? Vladimir, how you doing, my man? The Clubber Rowan explains it all nice and neat. They just agree the ultimate enemy of man was man. We're going to consume ourselves. No one uses facts anymore. I don't know if that's in response to the computer model. Probably. Every word immediately became a concept, inasmuch as it is not intended to serve as a reminder of the unique and wholly individual original experience to which it owes its birth. Alright, Vlad, I get what you're talking about, man. Aye. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's another thing that really doesn't make sense to me, right? See, coming from it from a kind of, try and put yourself in a child's innocent head's kind of concept and think about it from like a kid's perspective. They would say, right, so the people who don't believe in man-made global warming, they just all want us to die. And the people who believe in man-made global warming have to go, well, yes. Because it can't be that they've came to a genuine conclusion. And David Bellamy wasn't a scientist. He wasn't a professor. He wasn't pointing to taught the scientific message he was taught, countering a lot of the computer models. And the fact you're not allowed to the religious dogma that's almost came up around it is kind of scary as well. What? I often, if you ever want to kind of poke an atheist with a stick, right? I always kind of say, well, atheists are typically far more religious in their beliefs than religious people. They go, no, we're fucking not, God's not fucking hell, you fucking not. You're like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're fucking militantly religious in their beliefs. You're like, I know people that believe in God that ain't that militantly religious about their beliefs. And it's the same with global warming nowadays, isn't it? If you even dare suggest or just go like, look, I heard this guy once present this argument and it countered the. It's like, when you get that response, it's like for me now, I get this a lot though. When it's like speaking to a cult member, you know, because what you're doing is like they can't be happy with you two as a human being holding this different opinion about this one subject, because so much they've pinned so much onto it, they just can't let go, or they're unwilling to even, like, I don't know, I don't dislike, well, but anyway, I very rarely fucking fall out with individuals over their football team, what conspiracies they do or do not believe in. It's just, to me, it's bullshit. If anything, I like to actually chat with folk that see things from a 8-dimensional twister perspective. Oh fuck, look at this coronavirus as well. I don't know if something, let's see. Control the carbon cycle, control the world. I think it's even more than that. The carbon cycle, I suppose. I like the carbon cycle, right? Aye. As I touched on at the top of the show, I think it's even more simplistic than that. Like, the regulation that get put in would just control every economy and every asset and every facet. And this is where the conspiracy comes in. And this is, they say they have to approach it from a world. Well, it is getting approached from a global standpoint, isn't it? And as also, here's the, not only could it be a communist conspiracy, it could be a capitalist conspiracy, right? Here's another angle. This is the 7D, 7 plus 1D twister look at it. So it could be a capitalist conspiracy. Very similar to what I spoke about there with the alcohol and the tobacco markets here in Scotland. They've been sewn up for life thanks to your national SNP government. Thank you, Sturgeon. The tobacco and the large tobacco and alcohol industries in Scotland, thank you forever. You've just allowed them to sew up and monopolise the alcohol and tobacco market in Scotland forevermore. Thank you, Sturgeon. That's where she gets her money from. Now, look at it from the side of the capitalists, right? Like the capitalists of the supposed capitalists. In fact, let's change that. Let's look at from the people who the British Empire, who said they were capitalists, right? And the business interests of the European empires and British Empire. Now, they sailed all around the world and fucking by hook, by crook, took all over most of it, declared ownership of all the resources. I'd be here all day naming the endless bits of resources that the colonial powers went around the world and fenced off. To this day, I might add, or I would speculate or say is happening. And then all of a sudden, like China, India, Brazil and all that are like, hey man, we've got hunters and motherfuckers, and we just discovered resources that you ain't quite got your hands on. We're now going to be able to compete with you with, like, on an economic basis. Well then, you the old colonial powers like, fuck off! You India, Brazil, China, what the fuck do you think you're doing, burning all those trees, burning that coal, doing what you want with your resources to fucking... No, you can't do that. But you've done it. You've just done it for the last couple of 100 years. I know we've just done it for the last couple of 100 years. But that's why we're the first world and you're the third world. We want you to remain the third world. So we don't want you to do that ever. We want you to stay fucked forever. Thankfully, we get a good couple of hundred, good few 100 years of raping, pillaging, fencing off the world's resources, funneling it back, building our stacks, building the infrastructure in Europe, making it first world countries. And then when the other small areas, the other less developed areas of the world are then able to compete, we're like, oh, what are you doing? You want to burn that tree to fucking compete with us? No! You can't burn a fucking tree, idiot. Don't you ever think that tree's yours? It's in our forest. Aye, but it belongs to the earth. It's not yours. And if you burn it, we're all going to die. So we say you can't burn it. So there's the conspiracy from Ming the Merciless's perspective and Doctor Doom. And there's only one way to figure out who will win. Fight! Anyway. Fucking hell, Alan, man. Hurry up. Right, another 15. I'm doing the off. Should have started at 9. This is fucking late in the evening for me, man. I want to go to my bed. But there's different ways of looking at all this stuff. And there's different ways of looking at just global warming and what it's getting used for. Both sides could be full of shite and using it for their own geopolitical reasons, you know. But aye, tonic water. They don't just want to keep it, they want to double their money. But I honestly don't think it's about money, right? Like, it's about resources, isn't it? Now, here's another way of looking at this. global warming shite. Now, the royal family, they set up the WWF. I'm gonna come down there, I'm gonna save the fucking pandas. That's originally how they branded it. They set up the WWF. So it's but it's a charity, global charity, and they go around the world fencing off last swathes of land, going, "We need to save the rhino." Okay, you know, after just bouncing about, like the royal family bouncing about Europe pretty much, and if they couldn't take over it by hook or by crook, they would just breed into it, and took everything they wanted, fenced off everything they want in Europe, then bounced fucking abroad and went, well, we need that too. And then they fucking consider, well, hold on, we want that back. And they're like, no, the rhino! Save the planet! Here, have a word with Captain Planet, dumb indigenous motherfucker. Captain Planet tells you, no, you can't come here. You can't use your own resources, even if you just want to burn the fuck out of them to fucking compete with the West economically. No. With World Wildlife Foundation as well. That's why the WWF had to drop the WWF. It's a twofer. It's a twofer. I mean, look at that. The World Wrestling Federation went head to head with the World Wildlife Foundation. A fucking panda versus a squad of fucking wrestlers, and the panda came out on top. See, that is some fucking kung fu fucking panda sitting there like that, all fucking panda like no cunt would fucking like butter wouldn't melt. But right, it's panda fucking kung fu fucking power. It's using its soft power. Fucking you up. Wrestlers, and it won. It's a true story. True story. But the World Wildlife Foundation did beat the WWF. Fucking pandas fight, man. You know, seen Kung Fu Panda? We all know TV and all that are documentaries. I mean, that's why let's sit here and talk about The Matrix being real. Because we all know it's real, folks. We all know it's real. Pandas are evil. Pandas, I definitely think, are evil. So, what other conspiracies are there in and around global warming? Well, it's obvious. So this is why I'm just sceptical about all sides, because like everybody seems to be jumping onto the argument and trying to use it for their own agenda. I mean, for me the funniest one was when Trump came out and called it a Chinese communist conspiracy. It was like, wow, there's something weird going on when Donald Trump is using that kind of argument that's been put out there very strongly within the truth movement for whatever rhyme or reason. You could say because it's true, and that's why it was in the truth movement. But when you see that argument and counter-argument and then getting used for political and geopolitical reasons, I question why it turned up in the truth movement. Again, 6-dimensional twister. It's real. Google it. It's real. Right, I'm gonna read a few comments and then get ready to shoot the crow. Three finger a baboon death punch. bet you panda would be tasty, Stewie. I could eat some panda. It wouldn't be Kung Fu Panda, it would be Kung Pao Panda. I don't know, what is it, Kung Po or something? Fuck. He's for oil. See, against even the oil argument, which like the crazy the argument of peak oil and all that stuff that was used, that seems to be wrapped up in like that seems to be wrapped up in the geopolitical argument as well, doesn't it? And I'll give you an example. If you go and look the platforms that Greenpeace have protested at certain points and certain times, they've been predominantly not only like Gazprom and shit. You know, so Greenpeace of the West say they want to keep the planet safe and don't want any more oil rigging and all that, and then start pestering fucking Gazprom more than Shell, Royal Dutch Shell. Anyway, 2 thanks. So, I think no matter what way you look at it, well, this is my theory. Global warming, it's a conspiracy between Ming the Merciless, Doctor Doom for global domination through control of all production and industry in the world. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to get carbon credits for having big farty dogs. So, when you go and get your dog license in the future, you'll need to go and get your dog tested for a week. Like, they'll put a hoover in its arse, which will measure the carbon coming out your dog's arse on a weekly basis, and then they'll feed that into the supercomputer, and that will project its carbon footprint for life, and you'll have to pay a carbon tax for that. But it will be for the Ming the Merciless or for Doctor Doom to save the planet as Captain Planet. So it's kind of like it's kind of like Ming the Merciless with his Siamese cat, and Doctor Doom with his talking lion, fighting for control of Captain Planet, who nobody can question, because Captain Planet has got blue fucking skin and green hair. And if you seen a cunt walking down the high street and he was flying and he had blue skin and green hair, you wouldn't fucking question that guy. You what? I'm a Planeteer. I'm all in, baby. And we've seen Project Paperclip and Bluebeam, and we know that's happening. So what they're going to do is they're going to make a hologram impression. Whoever wins the WWF match, Ming the Merciless, and Ming the Merciless is down on its arse right now. I think they done some biological warfare on Ming the Merciless, and Ming the Merciless is like, as if it's had like a fucking dodgy chinky, like, could kill him. But either way, Ming the Merciless, when he's down on that deck, suffering from food poisoning for a bad chinky, he's out the game. He can't crank the wheel. His whole industry's going down, man. He can't go and collect his fucking yan and his wan. He can't go and make his rounds. Whereas big Doctor Doom's like, hey, look, Ming the Merciless. And now remember, Doctor Doom's declared war on these bastards. Right, apart from fucking throwing his military at him, Dr. Doom's see you cunts. Right, so as Ming the Merciless is lying down there like, oh, food poisoning for a bad chinky, but who knows? Was it real food poisoning, or was it the deep state Illuminati food poisoning him? And Dr. Doom's over there like, hey, Apple, Amazon, hey, our factories are open for business, and we don't have fucking stinky China food disease. Woo! Or we don't have Ming the Merciless's fucking food poisoning. Maybe that's what's happening here. But they're deep down, they're both fighting for control of Captain Planet because nobody questions him, because he's the blue skin, the green hair. And who would question Captain Planet? So, is the coronavirus violence? Freudian slip. Maybe it is coronavirus. Is the coronavirus a really Ming the Merciless and Dr. Doom fighting? That's what I think. Could be, or not to be. Anyway, I thought that was funny. But it does look like the coronavirus is fucking knocked fucking China right out the economic game, doesn't it? And like, regardless of, like, I don't think, see if it was like a guy, see if it was like 009 and it was like psh, Z sent 009, no Z in today's world it would be Z would send 101 Agent 101 in a fucking, because you get room 101 BBC cupboard, so it'd be Agent 101 and Dr. Z, to get the pronouns right, would send them in and to release the coronavirus to make all the Chinamen sick. There would be no way, they wouldn't do that if there was any way of ever fucking tracing or proving that back to Agent 101. Never do it. They would never do it. So anybody out there pretending to know otherwise, like, they really think by the power of the YouTube investigative journalism you're going to catch Agent 101, who was sent on a mission by Z, who we don't even know if it's a man or a fucking woman. That's how secretive this mob is. Anyway, but it definitely raises my eyebrows. You see that? It raises my eyebrows that the coronavirus has knocked China out the game economically. I mean, see if it was just Chinamen dying left, right and centre, I'd be like, they've got billions, they're alright, cool. Just you fucking just fill up the factories with more of them. You know what I mean? Billions of them, falling out the skies. It's raining Chinamen in China, believe it or not. See, when you walk about China, you can't fucking bump it. You just bump Chinamen fucking everywhere for some reason. No idea why. Billions of the bastards. So I was just like thinking, right, wee virus, wee bit of SARS, wee bit of bird flu, wee bit of this, wee bit of that. But this seems to have knocked them, boom, right out of the economic game somehow, some way. So it seems to be like the Macho Man Randy Savage of fucking viruses. Which is fucking, that's a fucking savage. Coronavirus, Macho Man Randy virus. And it's spreading like wildfire. I think the cases in the UK are up to 8. But expect more, bitches. Hopefully before it starts taking us out too much, we'll roll out with a vaccine. Fucked up China economically for ages. Remember, right, China have been undergoing a currency war and a trade war by the West and America and their entities for some time now. And this coronavirus, it's just knocked China right, it's knocked Apple I'm trying to think of the big corporations I heard that were shutting down. Was it? Anyway, it's hot China economically hard. Because if you actually go and listen to the science behind, or try, I know that's all I can do. Try and understand the science behind this. You then understand why this is fucking ground China to a fucking halt. Because with the nature of this virus, if they do not fucking basically quarantine the whole fucking country for a good bit, there's a possibility it could take out the whole fucking population of China. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little there, right? But I'll go into that tomorrow night in more great detail with some facts and figures for a man who's a real life scientist. But he does lay it out in layman's terms with numbers and predictions and all that shit. With the known figures and the known figures from the lying Chinese Communist government. Anyway, right. Nope, hold on. Is that Alan ready? No, is it? Fuck. Right. Oh. Alan's going to join me in 5. Right, okie doke. Not even had a chance to eat any of my lemon sherbets yet. Oh fuck. Few hairs. But alright. God kissed it, devil missed it. Anyway, before Alan comes on, if you did enjoy the Truth for Industrial Complex podcast, number 5, talk about everything Truth for Industrial Complex, whether you believe or don't believe in the conspiracy, it's okay. And tonight we're talking about global warming, man-made global warming. And I went 6-dimensional twister on that ass. That does sound like a good night. But it's just some of the mad lunacy that bounces about my head with regards to conspiracies in and around global warming. I have no idea what's going on. I don't want the planet to end anytime soon. And if I had a ruby red slipper moment, it'd be all rainbows and dolphins and unicorns. Especially unicorns. Because right, unicorns have got to be real, haven't they? Do you know what the national animal of Scotland is? Well, it's a unicorn. So, by definition, a unicorn's an animal, and thus it is real. And because of the multi-dimensional vibrational universe that David Icke tells us about, it now exists in some universe somewhere. So if it exists, even if it isn't a different universe, it's real. That's all I'm saying. Right, let's see. Oh, happy days. Aloha.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Hold on, mate, I'm trying to fix this fucking thing.
Let me sort out the old Skype Uno. Oh, there we go, done that. Done that good. Doing good. So as we are. Oh no.
There. How's things, mate? Sorry, that's me just shining. I thought maybe we were starting about 9 o'clock.
Oh no, man. I should have bloody... I've had to go into fucking 6-dimensional Twister on global warming.
Oh, you've been through it all.
Yeah, fucking... Like always, I found the meaning of life.
Aye, good, mate. See, you didn't need me to find it all for you.
I'll give you a quick synopsis, right, mate? Basically, it turns out that global warming's all about Ming the Merciless versus Doctor Doom. And they're fighting for control of our Captain Planet to save the planet. So, Ming the Merciless is China. Doctor Doom is the West. Right, there's different variations, but I'm basically saying it's more economic and more about power.
Well, basically, science is wet and merged with, well, politics is wet and go itself merged with science in a kind of a way, you know what I mean? Whereas, I'm not saying that global warming's no real. Like, CO2, we all burn CO2, you know what I mean? And there is global warmings, especially, let's say, like, maybe urban areas and that, built up areas tend to have a wee bit more warmth than other places and out in the open, you know what I mean? But it's no that it's an unnatural thing, you know what I mean? And what politicians are doing is they're jumping on the bandwagon and they're trying to profitise, or they're trying to make their friends profitise. Like these solar panels and wind turbines and things like that cost more to make a wind turbine and the maintenance of a turbine than what it actually produces and things like that as well, you know what I mean? So it's no cost benefit analysis, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. And these solar panels, you know what I mean? These were to make some rich guy rich, you know what I mean? It wasn't to help the economy, you know what I mean? They're saying help global warming and things like that. So you're paying your taxation and it's going to these guys that profit off of making you solar panels, like cost a fraction of the price than what you're buying them for, you know what I mean? It's just been a big profit for a lot of fat cats, mate, and that's all I can see, you know what I mean? And the West hype it up. The West, there's the propaganda machine to pump it out there, and they get wee lassies to stand up in a fucking podium and talk shite, you know what I mean?
But, mate, that's the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah, mate, you know what I mean?
It doesn't matter who and for what agenda, who rolls out a 16-year-old, a 12-year-old looking 16-year-old fucking Asperger's girl to sell you anything. And the craziest thing is, mate, we were getting presented. It's pure. It's substance. Is it style over substance? You know, everybody's heart's going to be melting. Oh, look at the poor wee girl, and nobody's comprehending that. Hold on, how does she know? She's like fucking a young girl.
That's it. How's she going to feel when she hits 30 and she fucking wakes the fuck up, grows up a bit and goes, what the fuck did you do to me, Mum? Fuck's sake, Dad, what was that all about? You know what I mean? Because, it's a lot of shite. The planet's cool. The planet's het up for fucking centuries and centuries. You know what I mean? It's just the solar cycle of things. You know what I mean? And it's just our governments are jumping on it to profitise off it. We're the only countries that are going to pay for it. You're not going to get oil giants paying for it. Do you see them paying high tax? No, they get free tax. You know what I mean? They don't pay tax. Whereas it's them that's drilling and sucking it out the ground and profiting off us burning it in their motors and things like that. So why not tax these people? You know what I mean? It maybe force them into, instead of wasting it on technology that isn't cost effective, why not put it towards technology that's still to come? You know what I mean? Like, look how quick we've got to where we are now. You know what I mean? There's got to be other ways and other methods to make energy, cleaner way to make energy, and safer way to make energy. You know what I mean? But it's not profitable for these giants. You know what I mean? They're profiting off what they're selling us, plus they're profiting off us burning it, mate. You know what I mean? It's fucking sad.
Well, mate, this is the I put in the title of the show is Man-Made Global Warming, a Communist Conspiracy. The reason I put that in is it's in one of the Marxist doctrines in their manifesto is to kind of control and own the means of production, right? And when it was muted, obviously manufacturing was a mainstay for a state and stuff back then. And whoever controls the rules and regulation around the global rollout of basically the control of all fucking manufacturing and all industry worldwide controls that all. And it doesn't matter if it's communist or if it's capitalist. There's just, this is what I was saying, mate, there's Ming the Merciless out there, and there's Doctor Doom, and they're both fighting to bamboozle us with bullshit, because whoever fucking manages to win this fucking fight, they can control the industry of the fucking world. They'll have all the industry of the world by the balls, and if anybody questions it, they'll point to Captain Planet and go, we're saving the fucking world. And if you're not in on saving the world, then fucking out of here. And that's why the stakes are so high, because they literally could control the whole, every bit of industry worldwide.
Yeah.
I was even pointing out, mate, like, the Western world has went around and raped, pillaged, and fucking plundered every fucking corner of the globe, fucking cornered it off, made themselves first world countries off the back of this shit. And then we're now living in a day where all these rich peoples are pointing to all these people in mud huts and go, you can't burn that fucking tree to make a house. You know what I mean? And we've been, like, so, there's different ways of looking at this. God knows, like, I'd argue there's fucking different people are fighting to implement this fucking thing. But there's definitely people that would have a dog in the fight to implement global regulation of basically the whole world's industry.
Aye, mate. Mm-hmm.
And God knows.
That's it, mate. That's it. Instead, if they're going to monopolise on it, why not monopolise on it and do something good? But you know what I mean? It's like you hear so many theories of alternative fucking ways of making energy. You know what I mean? And like, mate, we've been down the rabbit holes, and we know like there is things out there that they exist. Nikola Tesla was one of the ones that invented energy for thin air. You know what I mean? It's out there to be tapped into. It's whether science. Well, obviously, mate, a lot of scientists will know how to do it, but they're not allowed to put these things out until such times as it's been said so for who higher echelons. Know what I mean? So everything's all curbed, man. You know what I mean? They need to find a way to regulate it, the way to profit off it, a way to tax it. You know what I mean? And all these things have still to come, you know what I mean? But fuck knows.
Oh, well, there's definitely a argument going on worldwide. One side seems to be trying to get shut down. That was talking about David Bellamy as well, mate, the way he was kind of elbowed out the BBC just for having a counter-argument to the typical global warming narrative, and to me that stinks of high heaven. It sets off alarm bells for me.
Aye, I was watching something that Lord Monk talk or something. He's got a kind of a different view on global warming as well.
Lord Monkton.
Yeah. See, and it's not that. What actually happened in this interview? One of the people had says for the crowd that he was a global warming denier. And he asked her to retract that, but what she had said. And because at the end of the day, it puts you on the same par as like a Holocaust denier. You know what I mean? It puts you on the par of being a conspiracy theorist, you know what I mean? If you don't agree with it, you know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. It's one crazy theory. It's, how can I put this, mate? There's a lot of theories you can call a theory, but global warming, I really don't see. It's, mate, something that's happened for thousands of years. Ice ages, the planet's cooled and heat up, mate. How the fuck is people dumb enough to think that it's our fault? You know what I mean? Look at Yellowstone. It farts carbon every day. You know what I mean? Into the earth. You know what I mean? The earth produces carbon. Whether we're causing it more damage, I think it's very minute. If we're causing any damage at all, mate, it'll be very minute.
I just can't believe, right? This is one thing I was talking about earlier as well, mate, in the sense that the people who are all in balls deep on man-made global warming to prove their point, they need you to believe that the scientists out there, no matter how few of them there are scientists and professors out there who have a differing view, and they lead you to believe that they just want this planet to die and burn. They don't care about their family, their grandkids, their great-grandkids, so on and so forth. And that's kind of hard to swallow. So it leads me to believe, well, hold on, David Bellamy must be coming to that conclusion genuinely. Just like the other guy who is sitting over there in the white coat, he's came to his conclusion genuinely, right? And the fact that kind of David Bellamy's argument keeps getting nudged out, maybe it's the British dude in me, maybe it's the being a Scotland fan, was urging on the small man. You don't like people to get fucking an unfair fight. You're like, oh, why are you picking on him? And it leads you to believe, well, hold on, why did he lose his position in the BBC? Is that position so fucking abhorrent that he couldn't? That this guy was a fucking legend within the BBC. He had the kids, like, you know what I mean? He was just their wildlife dude. And because of that one scientific opinion that he held, and it was the science that he was taught off his professors that led him to the conclusion that what they were getting told, because it was based on computer models. And that just seems like an argument that Spock would make. It's like scientific. It seems very conclusive to me. People are pointing to a computer model and saying it's science when it can be as close as a good prediction as possible, but it's certainly not it's not a scientific method. It's not. You cannot call it a scientific method. That means the whole meaning of a scientific method goes out the window, and any clown out there with any computer model that enough people go yay about can predict anything. And it makes a fucking mockery of all. And again, I've got no dog in the fight either way here. I want to fucking save the planet and fucking love unicorns and fucking. I love penguins, mate. I love fucking penguins. I don't want to fucking fuck up the world.
That's not what I love about penguin.
I know, mate. Biscuits and the animals, fucking both great. So
I'm on the bar, mate. See, we've all been there. See, that's like we were all kind of a half tree huggers, mate, wanting to save the planet, fucking, doomsday's going to come, we've better fund a cave, you know what I mean? We were all there believing that the end of the world was going to happen in 2012, you know what I mean? We've all been in that fucking boat. So it's like, what I think is, everything's going to progress forward, you know what I mean? And even these people in higher positions and all the rest, they're making profit and that, as I says, but they're going to learn from their mistakes as well. Things are going to progress forward because we've got to where we are now, you know what I mean? And they're not going to get doing these things that they're doing forever, you know what I mean? Because there's going to be more scientific proofs going to come out to combat that. There's a lot of scientists out there that will tell you straight that mankind has got nothing to do with global warming, fact, and that's it, you know what I mean? And they'll produce their papers to state how they know what they know. And it's just a big division in the science community when it comes to that topic, you know what I mean? But it's not profitable not to believe it, it's profitable to believe it, you know what I mean? So that's why our media is pushing it. So, and like China's the baddie, India's fucking the baddie, you know what I mean?
See the fact that it's wrapped up in red car, blue car politics, not only nationally but internationally. It leads me to believe the whole argument's wrapped up in that as well.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So you've got your you've got your red car scientists that are going to back up that side. You've got your fucking blue car scientists that are going to back up that side. And whether they know it or not, they're kind of in the herd mentality, so they're just nodding along with the tribe because everybody loves to belong. And I'm just standing back and going, I don't know who to believe here. And the fact that it became, for me, when Trump started gaining the traction that he did, And the fact that he was out saying it's a Chinese communist conspiracy, I was blown away. I was like, right, what's going on here? And I know I've not paid much attention, but I know he's pulled out of a few climate agreements, the Paris Accord agreement or some shit. I can't remember, but all the global warming fucking people were wetting their knickers over what he was fucking doing. Now, I'm sitting back here and going, if you're not in the global warming cult, either way, and you can fucking think of this for, as I'm saying, mate, 6-dimensional twister, if you can think of this for a 6-dimensional twister point of view, you can see this might actually be economic or geopolitics at the go, or at work here. You can see this might be different entities fighting for economic control over larger swathes of area of the world that they're currently got. And it means it's the time and it's the struggle that we've went through in time immemorial. It's probably been behind fucking 99.9% of wars. Money, and the other fucking percent is missing is women, right? So 99% is about money, 1% is about women. Wars in time immemorial.
It's the public problem reaction solution as well, no? I mean, they cause the problem of global warming, get the reaction and pump the propaganda out there to fool the people, you know what I mean? And then all these other countries are going to look to the West for the solution, because they're going to roll out that solution and they're going to profit big time for every country in the world, you know what I mean? Because they're all going to need to pay their way towards the people who have got the technology and they know how to supposedly combat the global warming, you know what I mean? So it's profitable for all governments and all peasants as well, you know what I mean?
Mate, see another theory that it really resonated with me, right? It still does a wee bit to this day, because it can make sense. I'm not saying this is what's happening. I don't understand this shit. Sorry, it's in around the Mondo and something maximum. Basically, the sunspots on the sun.
Right.
And the theory goes, like, you know, we had that ice age where the Thames froze up. Was it back in the 13 or 1400s? There's actually oil paintings of people. And the correlation between the sunspots and stuff and the Mondo and something minimum. Fuck, I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about. I watched that Suspicious Observer and kind of I get his...
all the stuff he goes into, and it's basically this, how many sunspots are on the sun, and this goes through a process, and the more sunspots heats up, lesser, so on and so forth, and this is what they're saying is the cycle that we're currently in, rather than the Industrial Revolution changing that. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but the graphs that they show, if they're genuine, do correlate, and let's say you were Doctor Doom, Doctor Doom or Ming the Merciless, and you wanted to control the world, and you knew that information, but you think you could outsmart every cunt, you would bamboozle them with bullshit and use your knowledge of the predictable fucking curve that's happening to say, the Earth's going to die! And then when it all of a sudden changes, like, we saved the world! And then through your control of fucking Captain Planet, mate, they've just
fell into the trap, mate. Aye.
See, I'm no one for big overarching conspiracies, but I can just see how rich assholes out here will all be clambering to control the global body that will then go on to regulate every industry in the world, top to bottom, through saving the planet. And who can argue with saving the planet, mate? Because everyone wants to save the planet. That's what I'm saying. Captain Planet, mate, you cannot question him. He's got fucking blue skin and green hair. And if fucking some cunt like that flew down the fucking street, no cunt would question him. And that's what's happening. Captain Planet style. Oh, mate, I've talked... Honestly, I don't know, man. I think I've said Ming the Merciless and talking Doctor... Shit, what was it? Doctor Doom or Doctor Evil? I forgot now.
Doctor Doom.
Oh, there's James got it. It's the Maunder minimum. That's it. Sorry, James, you're right. Sorry, buddy. The Maunder minimum. The Maunder's Latin and minimum means minimum. And the Maunder is like the fucking sunspots on the moon. So they're saying that we're reaching a minimum
Sunspots on the sun.
on the sun, even though on the moon. That would be something to see.
Oh,
I'm seeing
I
spots
get
on
you, I
the
get
moon. Anyway, so that's all my kind of extra dimensional way of looking at this global warming
Then
thing, mate.
that brings into the equation when it comes to like the spraying our skies with chemtrails and all that. You know what I mean? It's that's the way of combating and cooling the planet. You know what I mean? It reflects the sun rays back out the atmosphere and cools the planet down. You don't know. That is the know. If they're real, that is what it's all about. You know what I mean? Plus, I think there's other things that.
I would distinguish between your typical conspiracy chemtrail and like geoengineering, you know, because cloud seeding and all that shit is like well known about. It's not hidden or any of that shit. You can actually, I think privately, you can actually purchase the services, man, and fucking crop sprayers and all that jazz, right? So, but your stereotypical conspiracy chemtrail is like all your airliner passenger jets leaving contrails in a grid-like pattern that people point to and go, "It's chemtrails." That's the thing I dispute. I just think they're contrails.
I know you do, mate, and I'm not trying to change your mind. Not trying to change your mind at all, mate. But at certain times of the day, I know I see something different because these things just don't disappear and they last for hours and hours and hours and just spread into a cloud formation. And you can see the fake cloud formation that it is taking. It's like a wave pattern, you know what I mean? So,
mate, do you know how this was explained to me? Like, this is how I understand it in my head, and I don't know who's right or wrong here, right? Because I see the same thing you're talking about. I'm not denying. I see that. I see the line, and I see it disperse, and I see it making the milk, the blue all milky and all that. But it's very similar to. It only happen. It doesn't happen all the time. It only happens in certain conditions. Typically, 90% of the time, it will be a lovely, crisp blue sky, because it will be. Let me get this right. High or low pressure. We'll be getting this mixed up. Low pressure, I believe. Aye, because high pressure would disperse it. It's low pressure. Now, you need to think about the sky up there. It's not just one big fucking air pocket without any movement. It's got clouds. It's got fucking different levels and layers and all sorts of shit, right? So think of it as like the ocean, where you've got the ocean in different layers and different currents and different temperatures and all that shit. So if you go like that with a dye through the ocean, depending on the pressure, the circumstances, the currents, so on and so forth, that dye is going to act differently. And that's what you're witnessing with the contrails. Sometimes you've got high pressure, and because it's high pressure, disperse in 2 seconds. Sometimes you've got low pressure. Low pressure typically, no, hold on, high pressure. It's usually high pressure they hang about in, right? Because it's usually the really blue high skies. You get high pressure equals less cloud in the sky. So typically high pressure is the best circumstances for what I believe to be contrails to hang around and disperse in that fashion. And it's no different than a dye, just very slowly going like that, because there's very little movement in the ocean at that time. You know what I mean, mate? And that's how the science that I watched around contrails explained it to me, and I was like, right, well, I kind of understand it happening under the ocean with dye, so I can understand it happening up there.
That's what could be causing the wave formation and things like that with moving about, mate, aye.
No,
but
mate, the planet's spinning. The planet doesn't stay still. So you've got flight patterns. So you get planes.
You know, it's flat, for fuck's sake. I've been told the Earth's flat.
Oh, God, we've got any chemtrails again. We've got any chemtrails again, man.
Oh,
listen, I don't care, man. And you know what's so weird, though? People actually want chemtrails to be real.
No, mate, I don't.
I don't.
Be real, no. I mean, I want the sun to get in.
I want to be breathing fucking fresh air. Anyway, wait, hold on. See that, though? That was another very early conspiracy I thought about chemtrails. I was thinking, right, during 9/11, I think people accepted that the temperature, what was it, rose by like a degree or something. See, after 9/11, they grounded all the air traffic.
Right.
So there was no aeroplanes in America, the whole America plus beyond and stuff, for the first time ever, I think, right? And the temperatures rose. I can't remember how much by the way, but it was by noticeable. They were all like, wow. And that was because of not chemtrails, just the pollution and all the shite the planes are fucking putting out. So
Aye.
I think there's like kind of non-conspiratorial evidence towards that. And I think it's known as well that all the shite that the aeroplanes pump up there hold in some of the heat, you know, just like cloud does.
Aye. Mm-hmm.
But, aye man, so maybe chemtrails, if they are real, it's to do with geoengineering.
Aye, mate, aye. Give me
Or,
David 5.
Global warming, mate. Maybe they're spraying the chemtrails to heat the planet up so we all think we're burning.
Could be that way, you know what I mean? And we're thinking the opposite, you know what I mean?
But,
There's nobody else going to be joining us, no?
well, the details are below, man. If anybody else wants to jump in before or
Sure, they're up
afterwards.
with you.
I'm all scared, mate.
Aye. That's what it is.
I've not got the evidence
not
to.
I'm half deaf.
I don't know. Global warming. It's like, it's one thing I find myself still nodding along to with a lot of people online, let's say. I'm like, aye. Because I can still see the sort of a...
Basic actions out there, mate, that they're stopping trains and stopping business happening and things like that, you know what I mean? Fucking, what do you call that mob? Rebellion.
Extinction Rebellion.
Aye, mate, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people taking it serious, but they remind me of who we were nearly a decade ago, Craig, you know what I mean? Because we were kind of we were heavy that way, but it's like, as I say, you're stepping out the game now and you're looking at all these fractions doing what they're doing, saying what they're saying, and you're going, I just really don't want any fucking part in it, to be quite honest, you know what I mean? Don't want any part in it. I've been there, and people can call it ignorance. They can say that it's ignorance all they want. No, I'm not fucking fighting anymore, you know what I mean? I'm fighting to fucking keep this smile on this big fucking dial, you know what I mean? Because I can't do nothing about it there. And what's happening out there is a natural solar cycle. Right, the bastards are going to profit off it. It's not going to kill us. The world's not going to fucking end either. You know what I mean? But unless everybody to just want to stop paying it or whatever, but it's going to go the way it's going to go. You know what I mean? Aye, mate. I've spent too many years being unhappy about this carry on, mate, and I can't change it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Unless the whole world did to fucking change it as a whole, mate, but it's not going to happen.
Aye, I know, mate, and like, it's like
That
fighting the New World Order's all good and well, but no when you prioritise it against your own well-being, man.
Definitely, mate. What was the old saying? You can't, if your boat's sinking, you don't take on the weight of anything else, you know. Aye.
Five's old saying.
That was five, it said that.
If your boat's got holes on it, you can't save anybody else. So the first person you've got to save is yourself. Sort your own boat out, as per se.
Aye, mate. It was a great saying, man.
Nice, wise words, man. Because I don't know if you remember, I was bouncing about saying, what is it? Selfishness will save the world. And it sounds selfish, but it's no. It was like it was trying to get across. If everybody saved themselves, the world would be a better place, you know. Because I found with myself, I've seen it in others, whether they admit it or not, that sometimes, especially with a lot of this fucking conspiracy stuff, if you get so worked up about it, you genuinely think that you're fighting for your life or the good versus evil and stuff. Like people fucking something in their own like maybe I don't even know if people I'm talking about for experience here. Something in their own life might be a span out of control, spinning out of control. You know, just that like and this happens in to a lot of people and for a lot of different reasons. But something's out of control and then they grasp onto something else to try and take their mind off of that fucking thing that's spinning out of control. So whatever's out of control in your own life, you're like, well, it doesn't matter because the fucking New World Order's here. I need to fucking save the world for the New World Order. And it's a way of, it points, and I think it's a good thing it points to a certain degree because maybe it's a way of your brain protecting yourself. Because maybe at that time, whatever you're protecting yourself from is driving you so nuts that you're going to do fucking, whatever.
I was talking to your Colin, kind of a roughly the same idea. It was like, no, I mean, it was when we used to fuck the Pope, and then we ended up fucking the Queen because she was a lizard. You know what I mean? It was just somebody to fuck. You know what I mean? It was your own self-projection. It was how you were feeling inside, and you just wanted to fucking take it out in the worst cunt out there just because you were feeling like a cunt.
Mate, you need to get that into. You need to say that in English and not in Glaswegian, man, because people will be thinking we fucked the Pope and we fucked the Queen. Like we lived some crazy life.
I'm saying is it was always we wanted to fuck something, and it was just because of how we were feeling inside, mate. You know what I mean? It was like a punch bag. It was like something to watch and fucking get angry about, and it would it distracted you. For your own fucking, it was your own inner demons want to eat you kind of thing, you know what I mean? You were feeling down and you were feeling, and it was just some cunt to punch fuck out of, you know what I mean? If whatever conspiracy it was, and it was always a New World Order that was fucking getting it, you know what I mean? That was the way it was, mate. That was who our punch bag was.
Hey, just
I'm not saying these people are good, you know what I mean? They're going to make mistakes, they're human beings, you know what I mean? They'll sit around the round tables, they're going to make decisions, you know what I mean? Whether some of these decisions are good or no, you know what I mean? Some of them are great, look where we are. I'll never stop saying that as well, you know what I mean? You take the good with the fucking bad until the balance sorts out.
I know, mate.
You know what I mean? But at that time, it was just some cunt to verbally fuck, you know what I mean? That was all it was.
I don't think there's enough young men with the perspective of hanging around with old moany bastards in the truth movement, right? Because, like, I think we're still young enough to call ourselves young men, and fucking seeing them around old kind of money old bastards, you know what I mean? And like they're like fucking bitches, some of them, but that's just the way old men are, and it. You need a bit of perspective. Sometimes it's just fucking like not everything's doom and gloom. I think things. I've said this a million. I don't think things have ever been better. Like, especially in this country, mate. We've not got anybody chapping on our door telling us to go and run into machine gun nests. You know what I mean? Thank fuck. Which is only what 70 years ago.
You're too old now. No, I mean, if I ever come back, we're too fucking old. We'll need to join the TS.
Mate, fuck that. We'll be. It's like if there was a world war, man. See if the Chinas invade tomorrow, man, and it's Red Dawn, mate. We'll fucking be making the tea or something. We'll find something.
Mate, I'm saying fucking come ahead. Fuck it. I want to.
I've been taken out with a poisonous chopstick. The bastards dropped it for a fucking Chinese lantern.
Ninja fucking shot you in the neck with a dart. No, I'll fucking.
I'll get poisoned with a chinky. I've got coronavirus. But I was saying earlier on as well, mate. We'll just stick this into the mix. Like, I think it's been obvious now that the West / Trump has been at war with China or ramped it up with the currency and trade war. And then all of a sudden, this wee virus pops up by hook or by crook and pretty much fucking cripples China fucking economically, man. It's like a gift, isn't it? An absolute gift.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, the old saying, mate, innit?
Here, are you being racist against the Chinese? Are you saying they eat cats?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, I dug then. For fuck's sake.
They do eat them. I'm pretty sure they eat bats and cats. They eat bats and cats too. But it's very interesting that it comes along and pretty much cripples the whole of China fucking economically. I found that fascinating, man.
Aye.
Right, mate, I've done an hour and 40 minutes, so shout out to everybody watching. If you want to join, do it sooner rather than later. Otherwise, 5 to 10 minute countdown and I'm going to do the off and you can join us for some after show. Mate, I'm getting old. This is like by my bedtime, man.
Aye.
I feel tired at this time. I need my pipe and slippers. My cup of
I'm
cocoa.
a wee bit checked. That was back shift last week. I got to lie in my bed till 1 o'clock in the day. And now I'm back up at 6 o'clock in the morning, so kind of a feeling at the night.
Oh, mate. I bet you are, man. See that the up and down shift patterns, man. That fucking knocks the shite out of you. You know, your body doesn't know. Your body.
As I say,
Sorry, buddy.
I says I'll be all right in the morning, as they say.
Aye, of course you will, mate. Of course you will. Right, so, Alan, what about? Oh, see earlier on as well. Somebody touched on the Club of Rome. And I don't know how much you can remember about the Club of Rome, but it was founded in 68 in Rome, funnily enough. They've now moved to Switzerland, and they were initially funded. Oh, hold on. Listen to this, mate. It always goes back to the Scottish Illuminati. The Club of Rome was founded in 68 by Aurelio Persiri, an Italian industrialist. So it's the industrialist that wants to save the world from itself. And Alexander King, a Scottish scientist. Woohoo! The Deep State Illuminati, Scottish right's always there. Scottish scientist as well. So an Italian and a Scot started the Club of Rome. Very interesting. Mate, there's a fucking Scot in the middle of everything.
Oh, fuck aye, mate.
Always
Aye,
notable.
mate.
See, what was I watching the other
Not
night?
a Scot that married one of the Egyptian pharaohs or something like that, Scotia or something like that. Know what I mean? Fucking, we get away back, mate.
Because we were at the end of the world. We were at the end of the world, you know, the known world, or pretty much.
Right.
I was watching a Netflix thing about the Ottoman Empire, and it was talking about the Sultan Mehmet when he took Constantinople off the Christians, and that was in the 15th century. And they were talking about the defenders of Constantinople for the Christians, a lot of Italian mercenaries and all that. And it was just this fucking mad Scottish cunt bounced out of nowhere as well. He was fighting the undermining that what were they called? The Ottomans, the Turks were doing.
Right.
They were undermining the walls and all that. But fascinating stuff. And
Aye, mate.
that was the 15th century, mate, and that was the...
Fucking Castle Milk tea.
Sorry, mate, say it again.
I says, I bet you they were for Castle Milk.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I can't even remember the guy's name. It was just so funny. Anyway, mate, is there anything else you want to get off your chest about this global warming stuff? I don't know, did you ever catch Trump saying he thought it was a communist Chinese conspiracy?
No, mate. No, I didn't. I don't really follow kind of a stuff nowadays, mate. I just know what kind of I was, what I used to kind of a follow in the past and where my mind was made up, kind of a mostly on it back then. You know what I mean? And having the double think on what I kind of knew back then, like it was all chemtrails were going to kill us, and they're trying to fucking do this or do that. But there's like always a good side to a bad side. You know what I mean? Like you play devil's advocate with yourself and question everything instead of just falling for that narrative. You know what I mean? That, as I always say, like I see them, like you say, you see them and they disappear like later on, no matter what they are. You know what I mean? It's fucking.
Mate, I see them. I am not denying people seeing.
It's not a fact that they're trying. I don't think they're trying to kill us anymore and things like that. It's no as what my mindset's not the same as what it used to be. Is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Because I think human beings we're going to advance and we're going to advance at a great rate. You know what I mean? And these things are. These people around the round table are making decisions that they think's right and kind of thing, and they could fuck up. They could fuck up, you know what I mean? But say who's to say they didn't fuck up, you know what I mean? And things became that perfect utopia that everybody wants to be in, you know what I mean? But we're human beings, we're going to try things. Trial and error.
Well, I would just... And it's a very simple get out of jail solution, but I think it's true in very many avenues. Balance, you know, regardless if you believe in man-made global warming or the other side. I would, for me personally, I don't want to fall into the extreme polarised belief systems of one or the other, because it's a no man's land. I think there's you become so invested in that way of thinking that you need to discount other individuals because of their belief. You know, you can't get on with folk if they might not believe in the same conspiracy as you or whatnot, you know. So, wise words, mate. A bit of balance and everything. Devil's advocate with yourself, that's wise words as well, buddy.
I mean, don't just fall for that fucking singularity. Don't fall for anything like that. Always question everything, that's it.
Don't fall for the singularity. That's a good way of saying it, mate.
Aye, mate.
Don't fall for the matrix within the matrix.
Aye.
Right, buddy, I'm going to switch that camera off. Mate, thanks as always for joining, man.
No bother, mate. I'll make it early next week, mate.
Hopefully you can join it as next weekend.
Aye.
Sorry, mate?
Do you prefer to start at 8 o'clock then, so that it's better hours kind of thing, so you can get it settled for about 10?
No, mate, it's whatever's best for you. Right. If you, so we can leave it at, we can start it at 8, we can start it at 9, it's really what's best for you, man.
Right, no bother, mate. Try and get it for 8 next.
Remember what we can do, mate, if you can't make Monday, we can do any other day of the week, pre-record it and stick it out Monday.
Ah, right, okay, man, perfect.
That's doable, so just bear that in mind, man, and then we can sort out a topic. Oh, I've got a funny topic that we might want to touch on, just because I've got some fun. The depopulation topic.
Oh, fucking hell. I just
Georgia,
told everything I've been talking about as well, you know what I mean?
Georgia Guidestones. It's all linked, the Georgia Guidestones and all that, but I want to focus on how we're going to solve this depopulation, mate, and maybe you can help me. Right, we can.
And also, you can turn it to the audience as well and see what they think in the chat. Tell them to give us ideas of things to speak about as well, you know what I mean? And it gives us something to delve our heads into through the week.
Oh, mate, definitely. I'll be asking for audience participation, but to help me and you solve the depopulation crisis, because there's only one way of solving the depopulation crisis, and that's banging as many women as we possibly can. So we're looking for audience participation. People are out there fighting. People who are out there fighting the New World Order. Me and Alan will bang you all one at a time to fight the depopulation agenda. So Alan. Oh, God. Shit. No, I'm joking.
His name's not Philip Schofield, you know.
on.
Right, but mate, I just thought that was funny.
Ah, that was.
That's more from a conspiracy comedy. But we can think about other ways of solving the depopulation agenda, buddy. Next week. Right, mate, I'm just going to kill this camera for a few wee secs, say hi to those in the chat room, and then kill the live stream, and people can come in. Alan, my man, thank you always for joining, buddy. Fucking star, man. Right, let me push the right buttons. Need to turn my camera off. And turn it back on again, and then we're all good to go. Right, where are my properties? Sorted. So, thanks everybody for joining. Thumbs it up, share it on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all the good stuff. Leave all your comments. Good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. I'll read and respond to as many as I can. Share it with your friends, family, foes, all the good stuff. Remember, digital basket. It is all available and accessible, free of charge. Going to do such a good job. You'll find value in what I do. Use your spare change, not your life savings in the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. Mega thanks to those who do. If you want to join in for a quick chit chat after the show, the details are below to get in touch via the Skypes. Alrighty, boob tubes. I'll say hi to those in the chat actually. Fuck, forgot. Let me see. Gas Mask, how you doing, my man? The Magic Magnets, who cares? Dud, the Creepy Crawl, oh my god. Jamesy Boy, Bright, Stewie, oh my god. In the evening, one and all, guys and girls, thanks for joining. Bright, Pontiac, in the evening, dudes. Gas Mask, thanks for joining, guys. Oh my god, what the fuck? Stewie, Bright, who cares? Pontiac, the Apple, Charlotte, how you doing? Cha, hope you're keeping well. Jamesy Boy, Bright, who cares? Gas Mask, Cha, oh my god, Jody Reed, Magnets, and hopefully I've said hi to everybody. Stick a wee thumbs up. Tune in tomorrow night for Not the InfoWars Nightly News, the original alternative look at the alternative media. Skeptical with the spectacles about the so-called skeptics and their testicles. And watching the motherfucking Watchmen, because somebody's got to do it. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Tune in next week for another Truther Industrial Complex podcast. Catchies! Kips Clip!